Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to another just important episode of Bros Who Know. I'm Dr. Jeff LaCure, and I'm here again with my podcast brother, my podcast partner, Richard the Beast Mode Yancey. And I have to tell you, as a quick side note on behalf of Rich and I, we're going to apologize to you in advance. Mother Nature is apparently very wily, as we're finding out we could get up to a foot of snow. We're filming this on March 13th. That's not right. That's just not fair. Not on March 13th. If it was Friday the 13th, we'd understand it. Hey, we got a real important episode for you this afternoon about lottery winners. And think about how many people say, "Oh, I wish I on a scratch ticket or any kind of lottery. I wish I could a Powerball. I wish I could win $1 million, $2 million, $10 million. It would change my life." Well, what Rich and I are going to talk to you about today is, these lottery winners, it changed their lives. It changed their lives so much, they regret it. Take a look.
To win huge amounts of money in the lottery, you have to be lucky. To keep your life in order after winning that money, you have to be skillful. This is David Lee Edwards.
I never have to worry about a hotel room again. Well, I have to pay for it. I never have to worry about a menu. Yeah, that's amazing.
Edwards and his then soon-to-be wife Shauna won 1/4 of a Powerball jackpot. They were presented with a $41 million check at this ceremony in Louisville, Kentucky in 2001 and received $27 million after taxes. Edwards had served time in prison and was unemployed. I interviewed them in their luxury hotel suite after they got the check.
When I went up there and played that lottery, I was sincere when I asked God to help me because I was desperate. I felt just desperate in my soul, just desperation.
They had become very rich very fast. And Edwards told me he would turn his life around, give money to charity, his children, and already had a plan in mind for themselves.
It's an R-Series Bentley Rolls-Royce convertible.
And Shauna, you told me you were going to get a car too. Tell me about that.
Well, it's between three, actually.
Okay.
Dodge Viper, a Lamborghini, or a Ferrari. I really haven't decided which one yet.
They got the Ferrari and many more cars, and a Learjet and mansions. In 1 year, Edwards said he spent $12 million. He ultimately lost all his money, filed for divorce from Shauna, and died in hospice care 2 years ago. His story is not unique.
I just want to thank God for letting me pick the right numbers.
Jack Whitaker of West Virginia won nearly $315 million in the Powerball in 2002, what was then the largest jackpot ever won by one person in U.S. history. Like so many big winners, he couldn't believe his good luck.
Let me see that ticket. And I looked at that ticket, and sure enough, we had the winner, and we were very excited.
Less than a year later, he had over $500,000 in cash stolen from his car. Later, his granddaughter and daughter died untimely deaths. And a few years back, more of his money was stolen from various branches of the bank where he kept his accounts, according to legal complaints against him at the time.
Rich, what do you think, man? These are people that, how much, $340 million? What was it?
Yeah, that was Jack, this guy named Jack. Jack Whitaker, his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, a qualification, right? They're not qualified to win that kind of money, right? So we talked about that in previous podcasts, how people, even relationships, right? They're not, you have to be qualified to have these things. And, in this event, he actually, he lost his daughter, right? He lost his daughter through drugs. He was a man that had a great stature at, where he lived. He went to church and everything. He was a church-going man.
Yeah.
And he started going to strip clubs and spending all his money and losing his money. And his wife actually said, "I wish we never won the money."
Isn't that powerful?
Yeah. So
right?
what goes on in his head, do you think?
Well, Rich, great question. There's a lot of funky stuff that happens. First of all, I want to highlight to all our viewers, it's really normal to have hopes and dreams. It's different sometimes when you actually attain them. And so what you hear is it's very common for people to say, "I wish I hit the lottery." And I actually think that's a healthy dream to have. But I love how you started it off, Rich. You said, you got to be qualified. So you got to be prepared. What do you do when all of a sudden you get, money brings you a level of success, right?
Right.
A lot of people don't know how to handle it. And some of these clips that we're showing, right, it shows that people really didn't know how to handle this kind of money. But I'm going to tell you, here's the bottom line. I love sharing this with our viewers, is when this is sort of scientific, this is research. is when you get everything you wanted, you got nothing left to dream for.
Right.
And what we find happens is the majority of people who win the lottery, a lot of money, I'm not, even $1 million isn't enough to stop, but I'm talking multi-millions, they stop working. But you know what else they stop doing, Rich? They stop dreaming. They stop their motivation for the zest to try to, accumulate things, to master their relationships, to read a good book. And suddenly, and again, these multimillionaires, these instant multimillionaires have been researched over and over again because they actually have a higher rate of suicide. They have a higher rate of divorce. As you mentioned, Jack's daughter got into substance abuse. We got a young man on that clip there, right?
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Comes out of prison and, it's just life just turns to,
Right.
yeah. So when you have nothing left to dream for, it's almost like psychologically you have nothing left. So there's a cliche phrase in mental health, but I'll throw it out and I'll throw it back to you, Rich, is be careful what you ask for because sometimes you get it. And if you're not qualified or prepared for it, it actually ends up being a curse. What's
Well,
that like to hear?
So I tell you, it's one of those things where when we talk about qualification, right? You're not qualified until you understand who you are as a human being. All right. So that's what's going on here. Because what money does is it just brings you to the truth of who you really are. That's the only thing money's going to do. It's not going to bring you happiness. It's going to show who you really are. It's the truth about life. The reason why people don't see the truth about life because they don't have enough money to see the truth about life. They're too busy dreaming about it. But when you have a lot of money and you can do whatever you want, the point is you don't do whatever you want.
That's right.
Okay, because when you do whatever you want, you have nothing again. There's no value. There's no, you lose your integrity. And it's the same thing in a relationship. A guy would say, I want a beautiful girl. Well, you know what? There's, having a beautiful girl, you got to take her out. When other guys stare at you and her, you got to be able to deal with that. Now, if you're not qualified, you take a beautiful girl out and guys are staring at you and you get nervous and you're scared, you're not qualified. You want a Ferrari, but yet you don't want to drive. You can't drive in the ghetto towns
right.
because you're going to be scared someone's going to take your Ferrari.
That's right.
If you bought a Ferrari, right, and you're in a town that's, it's not
Not
rich,
a safe
it's a poor,
neighborhood.
it's a poor neighborhood, and you're scared. Guess what? You're not qualified to drive the Ferrari.
And not having fun.
Does that make sense?
It
So
really
it's
makes
all
sense.
relative.
It is
Jeff.
relative.
It's all relative. So it's one of those things. Once you have everything, you have nothing again.
That's right. You know what, Rich? If I could, I want to speak to
Of
our
course,
sponsors briefly. Rich and I, right now, any sponsors, want to give us $1 million an episode for Bros Who Know? We will take that chance that it'll destroy our lives. $1 million each a week. I'll
Right.
take that chance,
I'll
Rich.
take
I don't
that
know
chance.
about you. I'm willing to take it. Actually, you know why we'd be okay if you and I hit the lottery? Because we have a clue, because we're healthy, because we're confident, and for us, money isn't the end all. Right?
Well, we have a little bit of money.
We're doing okay, but
I
you know
think-
what? I'd be okay with $1 million.
Well, I tell you
a
what,
week.
if anyone wins $1 million, but if they don't start drinking, they don't use drugs, and they just stayed in that house that they bought when they,
That's
they
it.
stayed in that house and they didn't upgrade the house, right? They're more apt to win this, in long term.
That's right.
But once you change who you are,
Done.
right? Once you go out there and you buy the car of your dreams, you buy the house of your dreams, like you're gonna lose.
You're still the same
Because you're not
poor guy.
qualified. Yeah, you're still
in that
mentally.
car.
Yeah, because the people that already have money, right? It was a gradual, or
That's
they
right.
were born at it, but they always had it. They had a learning curve. Everything has a learning curve.
That's right.
Okay, if you all of a sudden have money and you were broke, or if you were just just the average person, they said 70% chance you're gonna ruin your life.
That's right. And again, I think you're hitting it on the head. You know what else seems to happen too, and this seems to be the number 2 reason people regret winning the lottery. Number 1 is it killed my motivation, it killed my dreams. Close second is family and friends, so-called family and friends come out of the woodwork, and all of a sudden,
Yep.
they expect that they're supposed to get their share. I'm supposed to loan the money. I'm supposed to give them money. And what these people who win big money in lotteries find that it destroys their relationships because people, their friends, their so-called friends, get greedy. You find out real quick, if you win $10 million, you find out real quick who truly loves you for who you are and not what you have in the driveway anymore.
That's true.
Right?
And I'll make it a step further. You're sick, you find out who you are too.
That's
you
right.
broke. If you become broke, you find out who your true friends
Wow.
are too.
You get broke, you find out real fast. Yeah.
But if you set boundaries out in the beginning, that's why I said you have to be qualified, right? You set boundaries in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you say, listen, the close friends, look, I'm going to do this for you because I love you, blah, 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 but this is all you're going to get. And this is it. Don't even ask me for it.
Mm-hmm.
Or not. Like, listen, whatever you want to do, you set the boundaries, and then it is what it is after that.
That's right.
Okay, but if you're mentally weak, like I said, if you win all this money and you feel obligated, you're not qualified.
Mm-hmm.
If you win all this money and it's putting pressure on you,
Mm-hmm.
you're not qualified.
That's right.
So it's one of those jam scams. I call it again. It's a jam scam. It's one of those jam scams where is when you have whatever you want, you're not qualified. Chaos is going to find you.
And it does. It finds you
It does,
quick.
yeah, real quick.
Another factor too, Rich, that seems to help instant millionaires cope with it, to qualify themselves, when they give 10 or 15% away to a charity or to a religious organization or to something.
Yep.
There is a sense of real worth and satisfaction when you give to others. The people that sort of, how you mentioned they spend all their money maybe they're doing drinking and drugs and strip bars and all kinds of funky stuff. That destroys them.
Right.
That doesn't feed your soul. Feeds the moment, but it doesn't feed your soul. But people who give and donate actually report on the index scale of happiness that they're at peak happiness.
Ooh.
And I like what you said too, Rich, about you hit it big, keep your house.
Yeah, keep your house.
Right? Keep
you
your
put an addition on it.
Yeah, real nice addition.
Yeah, so the guy Jack that we talked, Jack Whitaker,
Yeah.
in the beginning he did donate. He donated. He was, actually he gave a lot of money to everyone, but over time, it changed him. Once he started going to the strip club and he started getting attention, that he was not used to that attention. That's the jam scam about life, right? So there's always anytime you do something new, it takes 10,000 hours to become a professional on anything, right? So anytime you do something new, there's always going to be a learning curve. So when you win that much money, there's a learning curve, and so that might be the next business. We can maybe teach people, right?
Right.
Maybe we can help them, right? Not ruin their lives when they win that much money.
Actually, that'd be a wonderful podcast, right?
Right.
Bros Who Knows giving really financial advice, tips for good living in a healthy way with money. A lot of people, I think the statistic from the Labor Department just came out that 60% of people are one paycheck away from being devastated. Very few people in our country have enough saved for retirement.
Yeah,
By the way,
scary spot.
if you want to help Rich and I continue to put out wonderful content and take care of our retirement, please subscribe. And we're always looking for sponsors. But please subscribe
Right.
because you're going to help us retire. That's one thing I'll say personally, Rich. I don't play lottery. I don't play scratch tickets. But say I did. Say I played Powerball. Not a sponsor. It should be. But say I played Powerball and I hit it for $55 million. I'll tell you one thing I'm definitely not doing. I'm not retiring. And I'm going to take that money and I'm going to invest it into some sort of career, right, that allows me to grow like this. See, I think you hit the nail on the head again about money has to be this.
Right, you have to
because
learn.
if you go from here to here,
Right.
people don't know how to do it.
And if you do go from there, you have to realize. See, that's the thing. So when you win money like that, you got to be a little scared. If you're just 100% happy, your 70% chance is going to ruin your life. You have to be a little nervous about it because at that point, you're on the map now. Now you're recognized. You're on the map, and everyone knows who
They
they're going to
sure
know who
do.
you are,
They
and
sure
they're going to want
do.
they're going to want a piece of it. So when you talk to a lawyer, when you talk to anyone, they're going to have
Want a piece.
They're going to have some kind of motive to get some part of your money, right?
That's right.
So you have to be a little nervous when you win that kind of money. That's one, and then you give yourself a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan because you have to learn how to be yourself, be this new person with this money. There's a learning curve.
And you know what seems to happen? This parallels this, and I won't get way off subject, but it parallels it. We find that lottery winners and people who are on government support, welfare, have the same level of happiness, have the same level of motivation, have the same level of drive, have the same level of goals, right? Because when you have it all, or you don't have to work for it, and I'm not saying welfare is a lot of fun, but they keep you just poor enough that you got housing, and you got food, and you got electricity. You're just poor enough that you're like, yeah, maybe I won't work. And folks, if you think I'm lying about that, look at the statistics of how many
Yeah,
people aren't working anymore.
I believe the majority of people that's on welfare is like that. Probably maybe the same amount, like 70%, maybe is like that. And there's a reason
Dream
for that,
killer.
Jeff. That's a reason for that, Jeff. Is that once you take help in any kind of way from someone, okay, you have to use it as a stepping stone. And it has to be a quick stepping stone. Because if it's a long stepping stone, then that becomes your life, right?
That's right.
At that point, you just sold your soul. You just sold, you sold your integrity for that money. Okay. Now, if you use it now, there's certain circumstances where you need that stepping stone. Now, that might be, you put your foot on it, and then you're off. That gives you a little push, a little, a little drive, right? A little bit of momentum to push you into a different phase of your life. But if you stay there too long, if you linger too long, your motivation dies out, who you are dies out, and now it's just a source of income, right? And when it becomes a source of income, it's not free anymore. You pay with your dignity at that point, and that's the problem.
That's well said, Rich. I like that. Can I repeat it?
Yeah.
You pay that toll with your own dignity.
It's always a balloon payment.
Yeah.
Nothing's for free.
That's right.
It's called the balloon payment.
That's right.
Even when you win the lottery, it's not for free.
Rich, what would you do, seriously, if you hit something? And I'm not saying $1 million is not life changing, but by the time the taxes and they pay you out for 20 years, $50,000 a year. Not even, actually, it's probably $30,000 a year for 20 years. Actually, that's the number. Say you hit major Powerball, say you hit Jack Whitaker's number. What do you think you'd do?
I'll be nervous, Jeff, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
because I love my life right now. Fuck that up.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't want to that up.
Yep.
So one thing I will, I'll just, I would hope, because see, the thing is, we can't talk about things that didn't happen, right? I will be happy, but I also be nervous. And then at that point, I want to continue on what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is great. I love my life.
That's it.
Okay, I think if I change that, you know what I mean? If I change that because other people, so if I give in to the peer pressure, that's where I'll start to lose. Okay, if I continue on being myself, I'll be fine. I've been fine this long, right? It's when you try to change who you are to fit.
That's right.
Like if I start coming in like talking to people different and not respecting people and walking in, I don't want to be that guy.
That's right.
You know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy. So I don't know. I said no. What about you, Jeff?
Well, it's interesting because, when you brought up at the very beginning that like over 70% of people regret hitting the lottery, and that's after a year. After 5 years, it goes as high as 85%. And I think one of the number one reasons is a lot of lottery winners are in relationships, not at the end.
I know.
Think about what you have to give up. Think about, actually, Rich, and I'm going to really personalize this for you. You hit $350 million, right? You're already a good-looking, successful dude. You know you're going to get more attention. You're going to get more attention from friends, from family, from guys, and most importantly, from women, right? Because you now have even added value. All we have to do is look at pro athletes and their contracts, and they are with stunningly beautiful women. Be very interesting, right? How you, in your relationship, how everybody would handle that added attention.
I got to tell you, but I think I'm qualified.
I love it.
So we'll see. Someone throw me $350 million, see if I don't fuck up my life. So I look at, I like, just like any other guy, I like, I love a beautiful woman. For me, they have to be in shape and things like that. But most importantly, they have to have a good personality. So far, I lucked out on that. That's a hard thing to find.
It is.
I'm talking about these days. I'm talking about everyone's selfish these days. I'm talking about it's just a selfish world, right?
That's right.
So it's hard to find someone that's not selfish, right? But that's why I said you got to be worried about it. You got to be scared. So I'm not sitting here saying, you didn't hear me say, oh yeah, I'll be fine. I think I'm qualified. We'll see. I'm talking if I had that opportunity, we'll see. And if I do, there'll be another podcast. Richard up and look at him, he's a bum now. But I would like to think that I raised my daughter. I've never been drunk before. I put that on national. Anyone who knows me, call me up if you ever see me drunk. I've never been drunk before in my life.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, that's
outstanding.
So I'm disciplined.
Yeah, you are.
So I'm disciplined. So if I can't do it, then I gotta say 90% of you guys can't do it because
That's
I
right.
haven't succumbed to any drugs. I've never been a drug user. I never did drugs. I have never even been drunk. But I have, I had beer and stuff like that. But I've never been drunk. So I feel like I'm qualified. But we'll see. I'm telling you, you don't know until something
Would you
like that
be
happens.
willing to give it a shot? Because I'll tell you right now, I would be. And I joke with the viewers, but 100%, Would I take
so-
a big lottery win?
All right,
100%. I'd have a blast with it too.
Right. So here's the deal. If I said that I wouldn't, if it was given to me, I'd be lying, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously yes, but what's more important to me is the money is time.
That's right.
I would have a lot more money now,
Mhm.
right? If I put more work into my life.
That's
I'd
the,
rather have
that's the
time.
equation, isn't it?
Time to me is because you can't forget about land. They always say you can't make land, right? You can't make time.
No,
Time is the most valuable asset on the planet.
that's right.
And even though I try to get as much time as possible, it still went by faster.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, it still went by fast.
And you know what? You're striking up such an important point. At people's deathbed, they don't ask for more money.
Right.
They ask for more time, unless of course they look up at their current wife and they go, "God, take me now."
Right.
Come on, Rich, that was fun.
That is funny.
The viewers are like, "May God strike him down for that one."
So what'd you do with the money, Jeff?
I know what I wouldn't do. Like I got 4 kids, I would certainly share, but I wouldn't take away their work ethic.
That's a
To
tough
earn
one.
and to work for what you get gives us one of life's greatest joys. So I don't want to just like, here's the red carpet and pave it out for them. But I also wouldn't let them struggle. So if life hit them with some weird circumstances, would I help out? There's no question. But as far as, no way. And you know what? That destroys a lot of families because they're like,
That's
hey,
true,
you're being
yeah.
selfish. No, I'm not. I'm giving you the great gift
Yeah.
that you earn what you get. You work for what you get. It'll feel great. Well, Dad, you won the lottery. And I go, yes, but I earned what I got up to that point.
Right,
I
right,
earned
right,
what I
right.
got up to that point.
I
You know
think
what
what you're
else I would
saying.
do
I
with it?
think what you're saying, Jeff, is that you'll basically give them a safety net.
Safety net.
So if they fall, you'll catch them.
That's right.
Before, if they fall, they fell. Well,
That's
actually, you'll still catch them anyway. But a safety net's good.
What's
You know,
that?
A safety net's good. I don't have a safety net.
Yeah, it's a safety
Do you
net.
have a safety net now? I don't have a safety net.
Not
If
not
I
as
fall-
much of a safety net as I'd like
I'm
to
talking,
have.
I'm talking about money, I guess, will catch me. But what I'm saying is, I don't have a safety net. Like no one's gonna bail me out if I get into trouble.
Right. You know what I hope happens, Rich?
What's that?
Hope we eventually change our show from Bros Who Know to Bros with a lot of cash.
We might not even have the show anymore. Well, hopefully, we still will have.
Actually, you know what's funny? I'm glad you bring that up. Would I continue doing this? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I
You know
would.
why?
I know I would.
We love it.
Right.
We love it. We hope you love it too. And again, we need you to subscribe. We need you to pass the word on to other people.
Absolutely.
Right.
Let's talk about this other guy. You saw the. His name is what's his name? David Lee.
Oh,
We're gonna
David
put
from
another video
jail.
up
Yeah.
there.
Let's insert that one.
Yeah.
Let's
So
everybody see. Yeah.
David, he came from. I guess he went to jail. He seemed like a nice guy. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So he won 41 million, 20 million take home, right? And he said he's gonna go buy a nice car. He already got the car that he's gonna buy. His wife, I guess girlfriend turned into wife. She's gonna buy a couple of cars or whatever, and he's gonna live his life. And he said, you know what the crazy thing about everyone when they win the lottery, they said that they prayed for this. Like this is this is God's gift,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
That's which is kind of odd because then the devil kind of
That's
them all up. But he ended up like dying, just being on, he ended up like 3 years later, ended up just finding them dead.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
Well, it's funny, and anybody who says they know God, and I'm a deeply spiritual man, I can't imagine God, male or female or somewhere in between, is looking down on anybody going, you know what, today's your lucky day. You're going to hit the lottery. Mm-mm. My guess is probably what happens is we get free will.
Mhm.
And I guess you can't hit the lottery if you don't play. But when we see stories like Jack and David, and there's a woman won one of the biggest jackpots on a slot machine in Las Vegas. I believe it was $15 million after she got paid $10 million within a year. Do you know what she did? And I don't even know how you do this, Rich. She put it all back in the machines.
Yeah.
That's right. Think about that. She just kept hitting the.
Because it makes a better you. That's all it is. A better you doesn't mean, I don't mean better you. I mean, it makes whoever you are shine in the light. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's one of those things where it's all relative, Jeff. We're talking about lottery right now, but we're talking about marriage is the same thing if you're not qualified. We're talking about if you're, you know what I mean? If you have a job, you go into it and you're not qualified. You know what I mean? Like it has to do with you as an individual. You have to know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got to figure out who you are, which takes time.
That's right.
Right? Figure out what your emotions are. All right? And be okay with every emotions. Because if you hide away from like fear, or if you hide away from like, I don't want to be sad, you hide away from those things, that's going to be your problem.
That's right.
That's going to be the forefront of your problem every single day.
Right.
And that's when they're going to come see you, Jeff.
Thank God they do. 360 Woodline Street, Holliston. Here's an interesting parallel, too. The NFL and the NBA, and I don't know about Major League Baseball, but definitely the NFL started it, the NBA picked up on it, is they said, wait a minute, we got a lot of young men, many of them who came from not particularly wealthy families, and many of them came from impoverished families, and now they have these multi-million-dollar contracts. They don't know what to do with the money. They don't know how to spend it. I'm going to use your word. They weren't qualified to be millionaires. And lottery winners don't have a coach. They don't go through a 6-month period, in which they do in the NFL. They have to actually go to classes on financial management, on how not to do dumb things with your money. But when you win the lottery, there's no coach there that tells you how to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
But that's what I was saying. Like, even so, you have singers. The parallels, that's what I'm saying. It's all relative, right? So you have a young singer that comes in, like Beaver. What's his name?
Justin
Justin
Bieber.
Right?
Nice haircut, by
nice,
the way.
yeah. He's a good kid, clean
Yep.
kid. He starts singing, make a lot of money. Ruined his life in the beginning.
Yeah, he did.
But you know what? He didn't die, right?
Not
so
yet.
time. That's what time does. He'll ruin his life. Give enough time if he's still in the business. Now he's learning, right? And once he passed that learning curve, now he's ready. He's older now. Now he's ready. He can make a better decision from here on out.
That's right.
Okay? That's what I'm talking about. That's what life is. Even when you drive, when you first drive a car, even if you know the concept of it, right? You go in the car and you say, okay, I got to take a right, so I got to put up the right side. Okay, I got to stop, so I got to put on the brake. It takes a certain amount of time before it's just, you don't even know that you're putting up the right signal. You don't even know that you're putting on the brake.
That's right.
Okay, but that's with anything. When you win money, when you sing, you have a lot of money, you make money. Everything's relative. And if you don't understand that, see, I'm already ahead of the game if I win. Because I understand that. Like, I understand, like, hey, I'm coming into a lot of money. This could my
That's right.
Okay? Once you understand that, now you put the brakes on, you're like, okay, let's figure this out. You and you have to shop it around. You can't talk to that first lawyer. The lawyer that calls you up, hey, listen, I can help you. You don't even want that guy.
Yeah.
All right?
Don't even call me.
And that's another thing we had to talk about. So if you had $1 million, Jeff, and you had 3 people, right? Two of your friends said, listen, give it to me, I'll make sure it's okay. Or you have one guy, your third friend says, listen, I don't want to be responsible for it. Who would you give it to?
I'll tell you, and I hope I don't offend any of my friends, all none of them. I don't know. You know what? Here's what I wouldn't do.
All right.
I'm not gonna go to a friend. I hit 20 million for financial advice because that's a recipe to destroy that friendship.
Yes.
You know what I will do?
What would you do?
I will go out with my friend and I'll happily pay for dinner.
Right.
And you know what? And they say you don't have to. I'll say I'm glad to. And they'll go, why? And I go, because I can.
Right.
And I'll enjoy that with them. Rich, as we wrap up this kind of cool topic, you know what I hope people will take away?
What's that?
We've delivered. You opened the door and I walked through it. We delivered this underlying message to people. This is bigger than the lottery. This is about being healthy. I like your word about being qualified, about being able to handle big changes in your life. We talk specifically about all of a sudden you go from here financially to here because you're a lottery winner. Here's what we know. Here's what you and I highlighted. If you're prepared for success, if you're healthy in spirit, mind, and body, you're not going to be one of those lottery winners that go in a year, I wish I had never won. You're going to be one of those lottery winners that go, you know what? It's kind of cool. It didn't hurt my relationships. I got rid of a few people that weren't real friends, but it didn't hurt my relationships. And yes, I'm still with my same fiance or I'm still with my same girlfriend. Why? Because it didn't change me. I think our message is don't let success that comes quickly change you. You change how you view success.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to take it a step further. I think that once you understand that everything's a learning curve, once you understand that you have to, in order to have a great life, you have to know who you are. And that doesn't mean that you become the best, the person in the world, but you have to know who you are because now you know what you're capable of. Now
That's
you know
right.
what you're not capable
That's
of.
right.
And you're okay with your imperfections, because imperfections okay. You have two diamonds, real quick. If me and you had two perfect diamonds, Jeff, right? And your mother gave you yours, and my grandfather gave me mine, and we mix them together, and they're both perfect, and they're the same size, same everything, and they were both perfect. It loses identity. We don't know which one's ours.
That's right. I love that.
Imperfection gives identity.
Mhm.
Once you understand who you are, even with all your imperfections, all right, and you're okay with that and you love that, there's nothing you can do. You can win $1 million now. You can have a great relationship now.
That's right.
There's now the sky's the limit for you. But you have to do that first. If you keep saying, oh, that hurts me, I don't want to deal with that, I'm scared of this, I don't want to deal with that, and you hide, and you can never hide from yourself, because once the noise quiet down, once you close your eyes and no one around, that's gonna haunt you. That's what's haunting you, and that's why they're coming to see you, Jeff.
Yeah. yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Hey, I'll wrap with this. And Rich, I'm glad you brought up diamonds, and perfectly imperfect diamonds. And you know, I put one on Abigail's finger last summer, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And that's a great example of she was ready for it, and I think she's become even.
Congratulations, Jeff. By the way.
Yeah, thank you.
You deserve it, brother.
Thank you. Well, it's amazing what you can get at Costco. I'll tell you. tell no one, by the way. Not a sponsor. Hey, on behalf of Rich and I hope you guys have really enjoyed what we talked about today. We do want you to like and subscribe. We do hope that you'll continue to develop your own sense of self, and we also hope that you'll continue to tune in. Stay warm, stay dry tomorrow. On behalf of Rich and I, you know we love you. This is Bros Who Know. One day, hopefully, bros with a lot of cash. Have a great day.